Okay guys, welcome back. So yesterday we were learning about number tricks and how we can pick a number and then we can do all these operations to it and then we end up getting some sort of trick. Like we end up getting the number that we started with, or we end up getting that everybody in the room gets the same number. Well, most expressions don't actually give us number tricks. In fact, oftentimes you have an expression, you get an answer, there's only one number that somebody could have picked. And so that's where we're going to head today. So if you take a look at the expression that's here, this is actually not a number trick. If I ask you to pick a number, if everybody in the room picks a number, then we will all get a different answer. So with me here today, I have my husband to help us out. I have Mr. Bennett Logic Rocket. How you doing, Mr. Rocket?
Awesome!
All right. So if you take a look at what we have here, we have this expression, and we have an order of operations. So if we start with x, what's the first thing I'm going to have him do to x? I'm going to have him multiply by 2. And after he multiplies by 2, he's going to subtract 6. I'm just following the order of operations here, and then he's going to divide 2 by 2, and then he's going to get 8. So, Mr. Rocket, can you pick a number?
Yep.
Don't tell me what it is.
Pi.
Multiply it by 2. It can't be pi. Pick an integer.
Okay.
Multiply it by 2.
Yep.
Subtract 6.
Yep.
Divide by 2.
Yep.
And add 8.
Yep.
What did you get?
7.
7. So he did all that and he got 7. So basically what we've just created is his equation. 2x minus 6 over 2 plus 8 equals 7. What we're going to do is we're going to predict what number he picked. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by taking his 7 and we're going to follow this arrow all the way down and we're going to put the 7 right down here. Then we're going to undo the operations. So the last thing that I asked Mr. Rocket to do is to add 8. So we're going to undo the fact that he added 8. We're going to subtract 8 and we're going to put this here at the bottom. And then we're going to follow these arrows. So I'm going to take his 7, I'm going to subtract 8. 7 minus 8 is negative 1. So I'm going to put this here. Then I'm going to take negative 1 and I'm going to do the opposite of what we had here. What did we have there? We had divide by 2. The opposite of divide by 2 is multiply by 2. So here we're going to multiply by 2. And so I'm just going to follow the arrow. I'm going to take negative 1, I'm going to multiply it by 2, and I'm going to get negative 2. Over here, the next step, I subtracted 6, so now I'm going to add 6 because that's the opposite. I'm going to take that negative 2, I'm going to add 6, and when I add 6, I get 4. And then I'm going to do the opposite of multiply by 2. I'm going to divide by 2. And 4 divided by 2 gives me 2. Mr. Rocket, was that the number that you picked?
Yep.
Awesome. All right, so this next problem here, on this column right here, we are going to write the operations that we are doing with x. So if we start with x, Mr. Rocket, what's the next thing I'm going to do after I start with x?
You're going to subtract 4 from x.
I'm going to subtract 4. After I subtract 4, what is the next step in
You're
the order
going
of
to
operations?
multiply that by 3.
I'm going to multiply that by 3, and then what?
And then you're going to add 6.
Nope.
5.
There you go. Add 5. All right, so now we're going to do our undo operations over here. I'll start at the bottom. The opposite of adding 5 is to
Subtract 5.
subtract 5, and the opposite of multiplying by 3 is to?
Is to take the cubic root of it.
Nope. Divide by 3.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yep. And then I'm going to, the opposite of subtracting 4 is to?
Multiply by 4.
Nope, try again. Add 4, right?
4.
So, what I'm going to do now is I'm now going to ask you to do that. So, pick a number, don't tell me what it is.
7.
Try again.
Got it.
Okay. I want you to take that number, I want you to subtract 4.
Yep.
Multiply by 3.
Mm-hmm.
Add 5.
Mm-hmm.
And what's your result?
5.
5. All right, so I'm going to take that 5 and I'm going to follow the arrow and I'm going to put it right here. So that was my end result was 5 and I'm going to work backwards. I'm going to do 5 minus 5 and 5 minus 5 gives us 0.
25.
Nope. 0.
0.
0 divided by 3 gives me 0.
Also 0.
And then 0 plus 4 gives me 4. is for the number that you started with.
It sure is.
All right, so what we've actually just done here is we have solved an equation. We have solved this equation where x is equal to 4. So for this next one, what I actually want you to do is I actually want you to write down your operations on x, and I want you to write your undo operations. Do that right now. Stop the video, do it. Okay, we are back again. Take a look at my operations on x. Make sure you have those correct. My undo operations are right here. So, Mr. Rocket, pick a number. Don't tell me what it is. I want you to add 3 to that number.
Yep.
Multiply by 2.
Yep.
Multiply by -2.
Oh, that'll be better.
Add 18. And divide by 6.
Okay.
And what was your result?
-1/3.
-1/3. Excellent. All right, so now we're going to take that -1/3. We're going to put it at the bottom. Nope, I put it in the wrong spot. We are going to erase where I put that -1/3. We're going to take that -1/3. We're going to put it in the first little box right here. And then I'm going to take that -1/3. I'm going to put it down at the bottom. And now we're going to go through and we're going to do the math. So -1/3 times 6. You guys can do this. This is just 6/1 times -1/3, which gives us -6/3, which is -2. And then I'm going to do -2 minus 18, which is -20. And then I'm going to do -20 divided by -2, which is
10.
And then 10 minus 3, which is
70.
7. Was 7 the number that you picked?
It sure was.
Awesome. So we solved this equation and we got that x is equal to 7. Thank you,
always
Mr.
is.
Rocket, for your assistance.
You're welcome.
All right, so the next two I want you to try on your own. If you notice, this one is already an equation. So we already have this expression that's equal to a number. So the first column, notice it looks a little bit different. I don't have the arrows. So the first column, what you're going to do is you're going to put your operations on x in the first column. Whoops. And then over here in the middle column, you're going to do your undo operations. And then you're going to take this 10, you're going to put it all the way down here at the bottom. And then you're going to work your way backwards. So stop the video, give it a try, see if you can figure out what x is. And there's your answer. Take a moment to make sure that you've got it. If you got x is 23, then you're good to go. You can move on to the next question. Go ahead and pause the video and try this next one again on your own. All right, and so here's your answer for this one. You should have gotten that x is equal to -2. So what you've just done is you have taken some pretty complex equations and you've worked backwards to solve for x. Nice work. Thanks for joining me, Logic Rocket.
There's no problem since you made me.